And the names of the committee responsible for the restoration are also in your program. At this point, I would like to read to you a letter from the governor of the state of California presented to us this morning by his representative, Steve Genoso. The letter is dated May 30th, 1992. I am honored to join in extending my warm regards to all gathered today for this ceremony to pay tribute to Solano County's fallen soldiers. Today, you honor not only their memory, but the spirit and courage with which these brave individuals served our nation. The granite slabs placed here today will ensure that those who visit will remember the 480 people from Solano County who gave their lives for our nation. Indeed, they made the ultimate sacrifice so that future generations would continue to enjoy the freedoms and liberties promised in a democratic society. For this, they have earned our lasting respect and heartfelt appreciation, and appropriately, you have gathered to honor them and place their memorial plaques. Please accept my best wishes for a meaningful and memorable ceremony. Sincerely, Pete Wilson, Governor of the state of California. Also today, we dedicate for the first time those additional members of the service from Solano County who gave their lives in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. There are a total of 480 names on the monuments. We are fortunate indeed to not have any names to dedicate today from Desert Storm. But more than dedicate a memorial, we are here to pay tribute to and remember the men whose names appear here. They were members of our community who answered their nation's call and paid the supreme sacrifice. Their lives were cut short, but we must honor and remember them this Memorial Day for the lives they laid down for us all. Many of us did not know any of the people we honor here today, but we pay that honor to them for their contribution and because they also represent those we did know and love who were lost in the same cause. For me, this service today is also for Captain Bob Rex, United States Air Force, who remains in Laos today. As a nation, we ask them to defend us. As a nation, we cannot forget them nor what they did. Will the color guard present the colors?
Color guard, right shoulder. Up. File left. Put.
2. I've lost part of my message. The band will now play the national anthem. Please join in singing. And now, the invocation will be given by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Fleming, retired.
I guess I'm not. Would you bow your heads, please? Oh God, we invoke your blessing on the rededication of this monument to the memories of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice of their lives to win and maintain peace and freedom for our nation and other oppressed peoples of the world. And we pray that this gift of their lives will inspire the living of this and future generations to remember that peace and freedom is a precious treasure and that its price is eternal vigilance and strength. And that when a people forget this the lesson, the lives of more young heroes are forfeit. Thank you, O God, for our heritage. Look kindly on us and favor our people as you have in the past. Amen.
And now to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, retired Lieutenant Colonel USAF Sam Cattle.
Please, loud and clear, affirm your allegiance to our country, joining me in a pledge that is repeated many, many times by those we're here to honor today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
We have several distinguished visitors and guests with us today. I'd like to introduce them to you at this time. If you will, because we have a long list, let's hold our applause until the end and give them all the respect they deserve at the end of the introductions. First, our current Congressman Vic Fazio. And we were told that Congressman Riggs would be here, but I do not see him. Colonel John B. Sams, soon to be General, we understand, Commander of the 60th Airlift Wing, Colonel Sams. Captain Lance Horn, U.S. Navy, Planning Officer, Mare Island Naval Shipyard. Colonel Earl Steck, U.S. Army, 6th U.S. Army Liaison Officer to the California National Guard. Colonel Keith Riling, United States Air Force, Commander, 349th Military Airlift Wing. And a holder of the highest award our nation can present, the Medal of Honor, Edward S. Michael. Thank you for being with us today, sir. Supervisor of Solano County, Sam Cattle, Bill Carroll, and Lee Simmons, and Osby Davis. And Jan Stewart, I'm sorry. When we counted roll, we missed them. Representing the various cities of Solano County, the Mayor of Vallejo, Tony Intintile. From the city of Fairfield, Councilman George Pettygrove. From Rio Vista, Mayor Jerry Roubier. From Vacaville, Mayor Dave Fleming. From Dixon, Mayor Richard Bryans. Gold Star mothers with us today are Daisy Tipton Webb, Gloria Bishop Weborg. World War I veterans, Salerno Sam Sebastiani and Pedro Velasco. We aren't quite done yet. Retired County Veteran Service Officer Jack Dewson. And finally, the War Memorial Committee, Robert Matson, Chairman, Frank Schober, Vice Chair, Edna Barnes, Secretary, Fred Connors, Treasurer, Craig Bryan, Construction and Design, and Fred Barnes, Fundraising Chair. Now our applause, please. And we understand Congressman Riggs is with us now. Congressman, thank you for joining us today. And now performing for us will be the drill team from the Combat Systems Technical Schools at Mare Island.
Right. Base. Forward. March. Thirty-three. 2. Hut. 33. 2. Hut. 21. B. 2. Hut. 46. Oscar. 2. Hut. 57. Whiskey. 2. Hut. 5. Echo 2. Hut. Four. Salute. Ready. Two. Hut. Order. Arms. Battle team. Halt. Parade. Rest. Attend. Hut. Hub out. Base. 2 steps forward. Hut. Forward. Base. Forward. March.
Thank you, gentlemen. A wonderful performance. Thank you. We'll be hearing from them later on in our program. Our featured speaker today is eminently qualified to speak to this gathering. He's a friend of the county's, been here many years. He formerly was the commander of Western Air Force, or WESTAF, which was the predecessor to 22nd Air Force at Travis today. He is a survivor of Pearl Harbor, and following a very successful military career from which he retired as a Major General, became a priest in the Episcopal Church. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Major General Gaddy Waldron.
Seem to have a lot of assistance here this morning. I like that. I'd like to add to the introduction that E.K. Loving gave by saying that up until the end of World War II, I was a very bold, hot pilot, military pilot. But now I'm just an old military pilot. And I guess that's one of the reasons I have lived so long. And to get as old as I am today, I'm 82. And the reason is that the reason was that after World War II, I became no longer a bold pilot. I became mostly a desk pilot. It certainly is wonderful and heartwarming to see this great turnout this morning. And like some of you, I want to tell you that you never get so old that you don't get pimples when you see all the flags and all the patriotic music and hear all the patriotic music and so forth. I want you to know that I feel it is a very great privilege and honor for me to speak to you this morning. Bud Stevenson, Mr. Nice Guy, as you know, in his weekly column in the Daily Republic this past Tuesday, pointed out that this ceremony was properly being held today, May the 30th. It is proper because May the 30th is the real Memorial Day. And I certainly do agree with Bud on that. In this connection, the front page of the Daily Republic on that same day, Tuesday, also reported that the turnout at Memorial Day ceremonies in Solano County on Monday, May the 25th, was very small. May the 25th is the day that Memorial Day was observed, as you know. As a matter of fact, there were only about 36 persons showed up on May the 25th here on these steps. And there was no parade. Today, I'm sure, will not be remembered. But I'd like to point out that what these fallen heroes of all these wars did will be remembered. What President Lincoln said at his Gettysburg Address is and will always be remembered, too. Very famous speech, as you know. President Lincoln's address was delivered in November of 1863. And the address was delivered at the location of the Civil War battle, which had then recently been fought. On that occasion, he dedicated a portion of the battlefield, the Gettysburg battlefield, as a national cemetery. And what President Lincoln said in his Gettysburg address then applies as well to this situation today. I quote a portion of his address. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That We here highly resolve that these men shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that a government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. End of quote. These honorable dead, whose names are listed here on these memorial tablets to be dedicated here today, knew how awful war is. We war veterans assembled here today, who are still living, know how terrible and awful was war and is war. I myself had 2 tours of combat duty in World War II. It is true that nearly all citizens of the United States suffer and make sacrifices when we are at war. But I contend, however, that those of us who are war veterans and have been in combat know a lot more about how terrible and awful is war than those who have not been in combat. Why? It is because we have had first-hand observation and experience of the truths that were so ably expressed by Studdert Kennedy when he wrote about the awfulness of war. I quote, "War is waste of muscle. War is waste of brain. War is waste of patience. War is waste of pain. War is waste of manhood. War is waste of health. War is waste of beauty. War is waste of wealth. War is a waste of blood. War is a waste of tears. War is waste of youth's most precious years. That is war." End of quote. However, we must constantly remind ourselves that the freedoms and the standard of living that we enjoy today in the United States are the precious gifts of these, our fallen heroes. These gifts were bought with their blood and their lives. These gifts were made possible as a result of their experiences of the awfulness of war. We owe them a debt of gratitude, respect, and honor, which we can never fully repay. I say again, we owe these fallen heroes a debt of gratitude, respect, and honor, which we can never fully repair. There we go. End of quote. However, we must constantly remember what we said. Since war is so awful and terrible, there is nothing more important to the citizens of the United States than the following. We must make every effort to avoid war and to maintain peace. Say again, most important thing. We must make every effort to avoid war and maintain peace. How can we accomplish these 2 objectives? Listen to the father of our country, George Washington. I quote, "The best way to prevent war is to be prepared for war." End of quote. Now, the modern version of that statement by the father of our country is peace through strength. I hope and pray that now that the Cold War is over, our government will maintain our armed forces at a level which will prevent us from becoming involved in another war. But I am apprehensive that our government will maintain that level of strength. Why am I apprehensive? All you have got to do is read the history of the world. Since the beginning of time, there have always been recurring wars. Although the Cold War is over, the world still remains a dangerous place to live. Today, there are several wars being fought in different places in the world. A major one right now going on in Yugoslavia. Where that will end, we don't know. Take a look at the history of our Congress. After each war, our Congress has rapidly and dangerously reduced our armed forces. I know whereof I speak. I was there, Charlie. After World War I, our Congress dangerously reduced our armed forces. The great majority of our people became isolationists. I was a squadron commander at Hickam Field on 7 December 1941. I was one of those who got caught with his pants down. That morning at Pearl Harbor, we were totally unprepared. Fortunately, our country had time to build up our armed forces and to win the war with Japan. In this age of technological development, we will never again be given the time to build up our armed forces after a surprise attack. We must constantly be fully prepared for war and to win if we have to go to war. Our national security policy must be peace through strength. We must always maintain our strength of our armed forces so that no potential enemy will ever dare to attack us. Today there are many in Congress who would like to reduce our armed forces to a dangerous level. I am very apprehensive about the United States becoming involved in another war, and that's one of the major reasons. May God forbid that we have to get involved in another war. I will now conclude this memorial address on a sentimental note. At the end of the program today, a lone bugler will play taps. Where every active unit of the armed forces is located, it is the last military bugle call each day. It is always sounded at military funerals. The music for taps was written during the Civil War. The words that are set to the music of taps carry a message of comfort and strength. And these are the words. Day is done from the sun, from the lakes, from the hills, from the skies. But all is well, for God is near. So, safely rest.
Clerk Grauer, your help here today. America's Band in Blue from Travis Air Force Base, the Marine Rifle Squad from the Marine Security Force Battalion Pacific, also at Mare Island, the Society of Military Widows, and the Choral Society, again, for their role here today. On behalf of the Veterans Committee that made this restoration possible, and on behalf of those whose memory we honor today, we would like to thank you all for coming. Our ceremony will close with the traditional firing of a rifle salute, the playing of taps, and the retiring of the colors. After the colors are retired and while the band is playing, it will be appropriate to come forward to view the memorial and place any wreaths that you may have. Is the rifle squad ready? Retire the colors. And salute. This concludes our ceremony. We'd also like to recognize that Charles Kopic, also a World War I veteran, was able to be here with us today. You may now come forward while the band is playing and view the memorial plaques.
Excellent. Here we go.